What's up, everybody? You are listening to the Carolina Sports Update with me, your host, Neil Curtis. We got a lot to get to today, including the NFL draft is wrapped up, so we'll talk a little bit about the Carolina Panthers draft picks for that. We'll take a quick dip into who else got drafted from our favorite colleges around the neighborhood. Hurricanes are storming through the playoffs at this point. We also will start getting into some more spring sports like I've been promising. So stick around. We got a couple of sponsors that we're going to hear from first. And then when we get back, we will get into all that is Carolina sports.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. iSports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, iEsports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Yeah, all right, everybody. Welcome back after a little bit of a glitch there. Sorry, it was my bad. All right, welcome back. We are going to get into it hot and heavy today. We've got a lot of good stuff to talk about. But first, don't forget to check out all those sponsors. Really appreciate them and what they do for us. Also, be sure to check us out. We are exclusively now, so be sure to get over to YouTube. Look up IE Sports Radio there. Once there, you can find all me at the Carolina SP up _ IE, the Carolina Sports Update there on YouTube, and then on X. Just gave you that handle. You can also find my personal handle on X at UNC Navy 03. So be sure to look us up when you get there. Click that like, click the subscribe. And be sure to mention our Carolina Sports Update when you do it. And let us know, because we would like to know who got you there and what you're doing, what you're interested in, and what you're there to watch. All right, let's roll into the Panthers draft. This was a great couple of days. Been waiting for this for a year now, I think. I really enjoy the draft. I love watching looking at prospects, following them through the college season. I love to see how things work out. I love to try to think like a team, like a GM, put teams together, find the players with the best fits for the team, and imagine how I would do things and run things and see how close that comes to what the professionals are doing. And then from there, kind of gauge, could I do that? But not all the time, but we'll see how this one turned out. I really enjoyed this this weekend following the draft. We've had, a few years now, I think, with some mediocre ho-hum drafts. You can go back a couple years to the Bryce Young draft, and that was pretty exciting with the trade up. Last year was a little bit of a dearth with picks because of that Bryce Young trade, but we still managed, Dan Morgan, we still managed to do some really good things, maneuvering around the draft board, getting up into the first round to take Xavier Legette. And so this year it was, I think this is one of the more exciting ones that I've seen and been following along with. Coming out of this draft and going into the season, I'm really excited. This is a good group of guys they've got coming in. Everybody's sitting down and want to grade the draft, give them A's, give them B's, that kind of thing. I don't look at it that way, especially 3 days after a draft before any of them take an NFL snap. The way I kind of gauge it is how do I feel about it? Like, how am I reacting? Am I fired up? I'm like, oh, that guy did a lot in college. That guy is really explosive. Kind of like seeing their personalities, especially after a draft when they get picked up, and what we can expect. And like, am I looking forward to renewing my season tickets? Am I looking forward to catching the games, trying to make it up there to catch a game? Am I going to be bored out of my mind while I tune in on Sunday or Sunday afternoons? So this one for me was definitely an exciting one. I would give it, fire emojis or whatever you want to call it. So we know round one, pick number 8. A lot of people, myself included, definitely expected Carolina to go defense on this one. Very much their biggest need this offseason. They said they were going to address it this offseason. They made it a priority. And then I think everybody, just about every analyst had, I think, kind of come to a consensus on Jalen Walker. Fantastic prospect, very versatile scheme, independent, could have brought him into just about anything, which I think will have made him a great fit for Evero. But Carolina threw the curveball here, and they went with Tetairoa T-Mac McMillan, the wide receiver from Arizona. Kind of had hints of this coming. If you recall, Coach Canales, when he was interviewing with Mina Kimes a little earlier in this draft process, he kind of mentioned almost accidentally that they had been in on pursuing DK Metcalf before he eventually went to Pittsburgh, but had been in on trying to trade for him. That didn't go through for the Panthers. But then kind of backed it up a little bit, said that, they felt like they had their receiver room was pretty solid. They felt like they had their number one. Dan Morgan kind of followed that up a little while later in one of his press conferences, which to me was a little bit of a flag, or should have been a bigger flag than I let it be, but a little bit of a flag to say that you think you've got your wide receiver room in order, but you were still pursuing DK Metcalf in a trade. So should have seen there that they weren't completely comfortable with their wide receiver room. And it showed up here, Dick and McMillan, and really a dynamic, very physical, very athletic wide receiver. Ran a pretty decent 40 time. I think it was 4.46, kind of at school pro day time. And demonstrated throughout the year great contested catch ability. He's got the ability to move a little bit. He's got some pretty decent route running. Maybe not top of the class route running ability, but very good. 6'4", 220 I think was the weight. So tall, pretty. I don't want to say heavy, but got some good weight to him. So this is going to be a guy who's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I think he's going to really light it up. And that's kind of what I've always felt like, your first round pick is your guy who's going to light it up and really be that spark, that boom type of guy. And they really did do that, selecting Tetairoa. And they followed that up on day 2. This was a really exciting day. I really enjoyed this. Shocked to see this actually happen. I think Canales himself said he was shocked to see it happen. At pick 51, they were able to get edge Nick Scorton from Texas A&M. Had played previously at Purdue, another 6'3", 6'4" guy at Purdue, was in the 250s. Came to Texas A&M, bulked up a little bit, got a little heavier, played in the 280s. So some of his production went down. That could have been, due to playing at a different size, maybe a little bit slower than he was used to. Probably also a little bit of a scheme thing going on there. We saw a couple of players coming out of Texas A&M who did not really have a lot of the high production numbers that I think NFL teams would be looking for. But of the 3 real edge and D-line prospects coming from there, obviously Shamar Stewart being one of the other ones on the other side. Scorton had the highest number of sacks coming out of that. So still able to produce in a program and in a scheme that wasn't really set up to get some very high sack numbers. Also, again, like I said, playing at a different weight and speed than he's probably used to. Off season, got in the guy's nutrition, changed around a little bit. Don't think he really liked playing at the weight he was at, so got himself down, and he's back in the like high 250s, almost 260 type weight range. That sounds awesome to me. I love, big, physical, strong dudes. I think 6'4", 255, 260 sounds fantastic for an edge defender. And he's going to be, I think, a terror off the edge. He's got some time to kind of grow and develop too with our setup already, which Davian Clowney, DJ Wonham, Pat Stewart, the second. Pat Johnson, the second there. So we've got some guys that he can play behind and get some reps in and kind of develop, but also hopefully make an immediate impact as well. And that can be same thing could pretty much be said for our next guy at number 77. The Panthers took edge Princely Umanmielen from Ole Miss. Again, they're really high energy, high octane type of dude. Motor runs hot like all the time. You could tell why Dan Morgan really liked him. Had an amazing game against Georgia, where I think he recorded 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and just like a guy who just plays with his hair on fire. And I think that's exactly the kind of guy Morgan and this coaching staff are looking for. A real good rush specialist. Probably going to be more on a passing down type of situation, but you pair him up with Scorton and some of these other guys out there. Again, have him behind some of the veterans that we have already, and let him kind of grow and develop. I think he's a little bit on the lighter. He's also like in the 6'2", 6'3" range, still on the lighter side though, in the 240s. So maybe not as strong at setting the edge against the run, but he did have some great penetration. Both these guys have some pretty good pass moves already in their repertoire. Both of them have a really nice spin move. Watched a lot of film with them doing this really great inside spin where they would get the tackle moving out and then get this like nice inside spin, and it would plant them right in the middle of the play, either right on top of a running back trying to come through, or right there in the quarterback's face to either disrupt what the quarterback was doing or just take them down, get the sack. So both guys have some really great moves and a lot of room to improve. Both of them pretty young too. I think Scorton is 20. He'll turn 21 in August. And Manny Allen not too far ahead of him as well. Now, day 3 was a little bit of a different story, I'll be honest. Some head scratchers, really, in my opinion. We still had some pretty decent needs going into this day. Safety was a big one, in my opinion. So was linebacker. Thought we could use some help at linebacker, given the state our linebacker core was in. We did bring in Roseboom. We've still got Jewel and a couple other guys there playing, but I felt like this crew could use a little bit of help, and we could have done it through the draft. Same thing again with safety in the secondary in general. Could use another cornerback, and we did address some of it, but really not quite to the level that I thought we were going to. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull up a quick thing here I want to read. Yeah, so coming into day 3, I felt like some good names to have kept an eye out for. Bobby Bowman, safety, Lathan Ransom, who we'll get to. Sebastian Castro as well. Linebackers, you still had Carter was on the board. Stutzman was on the board. Cody Simon, Bassa, and Jack Kaiser from Notre Dame still out there. I thought Chris Paul was out there as well. I didn't have him on this list, but I thought Chris Paul was on there as well. And then quarterback, Burke, Zay Alexander, Zay Frazier, Quincy Riley, who Carolina had brought in on a visit, And then I was thinking we'd probably kind of really still need some help on the offensive line to kind of bolster that line. Taylor, we talked about offensive tackle Taylor Moton still, coming off an injury. I think coming toward the end of his contract. Austin Corbett, the center, coming off an injury as well. Also, only I think has 1 year on his deal. And we've got some guys in there, but like it's only going to take a hit or two to put this offensive line in a bad spot. So I really thought we'd attack that. And some of that they did address, but not a whole lot. So first off, at pick 114, running back, which was interesting, Trevor Etienne from Georgia. Kind of again, this is where kind of got. I felt like almost kind of like, oh, this is back to Carolina drafting here. Those first three picks were some really strong names, some really great analytics behind them. But then Trevor Etienne was a little bit of a surprise. You can see him as a bit of a return option. You see it. We already have Hubbard and Rico Dowdle kind of first up running backs. We've got Brooks who's injured, and he will be injured pretty much through most of the season. Probably won't be coming back maybe late in the season and very slowly, especially after given last season. So you're talking about like kind of a third guy rotating in there. And so to take him at number 4 when you still had like I think some strong needs at safety, and I think all those guys that I just listed, Bowman, Paul, and others were still on the board. I would have felt that would have been a better value pick at that point. Probably waited on ETN, especially at 122, probably even 140. But they went with it, so we'll see how that turns out for them. And then they finally addressed safety. Pick 122, they did get Lathan Ransom from The Ohio State. Another really strong, we're going to talk about a hair on fire type of player. This is your guy. This dude loves to fly in from off the screen and out of nowhere and just lay dudes out. I like no regard for his body, no regard for himself or others, and will just come flying in full speed and take guys out. So that's exciting to see. But we already have a safety that we just signed in the offseason that's really a little bit better down in the box, better against the run. That's exactly what Ransom was good at Ohio State. He was not much of a coverage safety. And so I was a little surprised there that we didn't go for somebody who's a little bit better in coverage than they were against the run in the box. So kind of another, even though they addressed the need that I thought needed to be addressed, kind of interesting who they went with on that one. Then at going into round 5 at pick 140, picked up defensive tackle Cam Jackson from Florida. This is a big dude who's really meant to clog up the line, probably absorb some double teams, pull down, stop the run, kind of get in those lanes and keep the running back from getting too far. And I think, especially at 140, phenomenal pick there. Really like to see how he moves. Huge dude, I think 330, but moves really well for the size. So excited there. A great pick. Again, still would have thought maybe an offensive line, get a cornerback or something there. Like I said, if you had switched it around a little bit and gone linebacker a little bit earlier, you could have picked up probably ETN at this point. But all in all, good, strong defensive tackle, helping stuff to run. You can really see a focus on stopping that run game from other teams for this defensive class. And then 13 or 23 picks later, so towards the end of the round, pick 163, you got tight end Mitchell Evans from Notre Dame. Got a pretty low tight end room as it is. We just picked up in the offseason, if you saw, from UNC Charlotte, I think it was. I'm blanking on the kid's name, but he was a basketball player. Bringing him in on a tight end contract as a tight end to see if they can develop him into a tight end. But Mitchell Evans, a lot of really good folks, or a lot of good things being said about him. Great as an inline tight end, but also really good blocker as well. Kind of fits a prototypical tight end size and abilities. You might see him rolling into the tight end 3 position, especially on some blocking, which might free up Tommy Tremble to play more of a role in the receiving game, because he's been the guy who's really been very heavy in the blocking game before. So maybe now he'll start moving into more of a receiving role himself. And our last pick, pick 208, round 6. Wide receiver Jimmy Horn Jr. from Colorado. Not a super fast speedster, but smaller dude. So Carolina here bookending their draft with wide receivers. First round wide receiver was 6'4", 220, I think. This guy, I think he was 5'9" and 170. So a huge difference in size, but type of guy who can be shifty, pretty good at breaking tackles as well, and can definitely be set up as a good return man. Work in the slot a little bit, provide a little bit of relief there, a little bit of change of pace maybe. So we'll see how he works out as well. And then if you've been following, in the off since the draft, Carolina has signed wide receiver Hunter Renfrow, previously of the Raiders. Had a pretty nice career there. Took last year off. I think it was personal, a little bit of mental health stuff. So took that time off, collected himself, ready to get back into football, and excited that he's going to be doing it with the Panthers. So Carolina now looking at a pretty stacked wide receiver room, looking at a really good backfield of running backs, a plethora of some tight ends as well, and after last year, a really strongly built offensive line. So I think they really kind of set the stage and set it up for Bryce Young. If he can't continue the success he saw at the end of last season, he's going to be in some real trouble. And the Panthers are going to be in some trouble as well. I've already seen a couple mocks for 2026. They base it on the Las Vegas odds for the Super Bowl, just put them in reverse order, and he has Carolina near the top at number 6. In my opinion, if we're at number 6 again at this time next year, Bryce Young's on his way out, and we're drafting for a quarterback again. So I don't think that's going to be the case. Like I said, I am really excited about this. First 3 picks in particular, fantastic picks. Super excited. Wayne renewed my season tickets earlier today because of it. The last 5 picks, doing all right. Pretty solid picks. Doesn't get me nearly as excited. It kind of feels again like a traditional Carolina draft, and so not quite as excited about that. All right, I want to take a quick moment too now to kind of talk just about some of our college teams and players that they had drafted. Go around real quick. So South Carolina led the way here. They had 5 players drafted. Not a surprise there. They had a really good season. Their defense was incredible. And as such, all 5 of those players were on the defensive end. First off the board was safety Nicky Manwari. I've talked about him here. He was a favorite of mine. I would love to have seen him in our secondary, paired up with J.C. Horn, get those Gamecock brothers back together. He goes to the Seahawks, though. And he had defensive tackle T.J. Sanders. He went to the Bills, affectionately known by some draft nicks as Bull Rush McIntyre. But T.J. Sanders there going to the Bills. Great pickup for them. Then linebacker Demetrius Knight, who Carolina showed an interest in as well, was drafted by the Bengals. Edge, Kyle Kennard, also another great option there at edge. And I've seen some people talk about with that second pick instead of Imam Ellen, maybe going with something like one of those safeties or a linebacker, a higher rated linebacker, and then waiting on someone like Kyle Kennard a little bit later on. But really happy still personally with Imam Ellen. Kyle Kennard would have been fantastic too, but he's going to the Chargers. And then lastly, defensive tackle Tonka Hemingway, great name. He'll be going to the Raiders. That's a fantastic spot for him, I think. Follow that up. Clemson had 3. Linebacker Barrett Carter. He went to the Bengals. Safety R.J. Mickens went to the Chargers, and then running back Phil Maffa went to the Cowboys. If you've been following Carolina for any amount of time, you probably know there are no Clemson players coming to the Carolinas, staying in the Carolinas. For some reason, the Panthers had never drafted a Clemson Tiger in the NFL draft. So, interesting thing there. And follow that up with a few schools that have one player each. East Carolina's Siobhan Ravel, drafted by the Cowboys. Cornerback Siobhan Ravel, drafted by the Cowboys. That's pretty cool to me. If you've had looked into his backstory a little bit, from ECU, but before that, played at Lewisburg College, which is the town near where I grew up. I went to high school, Lewisburg High School, which was on the backside of the college there, but several years before Rebel came through. And then NC State had a guy get picked up, 2 offensive linemen. Anthony Belton went to the Packers. And then finally, yours truly, UNC, with one player that is obviously running back Omarion Hampton, went to the Chargers in the first round. And UNC, for the first time in quite a while, has back-to-back drafts with a player in the top or in the first round. All right, we'll kind of wrap it up there from our NFL draft talk. That's going to kind of do it for the Panthers for a little while. We will talk a little bit once they hit the rookie mini camp, when they go through OTAs, and then again once they open up training camp, we'll get back into it again. If we have any big news, I know we're still waiting to see if we sign any more free agents, especially at linebacker and safety. If we do, we'll be sure to talk about that in depth as well. But now finishing up spring, going into summer, we're going to start shifting our focus to some of those other sports we don't normally get to talk about. But first, let's talk real quick about the Carolina Hurricanes playing incredibly well in these playoffs. Jumped out to a quick 2-0 series lead against the New Jersey Devils in Carolina. Really pounding the Devils there, having a couple of great games. They moved up to New Jersey, where they dropped the first one. The Devils take one back, close it back to 2-1. And then Carolina responded pretty handily the other night, 5-2. They are back in town tonight in Raleigh at the Lenovo Center, or tomorrow night. Sorry, this is Monday. Tomorrow night, Tuesday night, in the Lenovo, or afternoon in the Lenovo Center at 4:30, with a chance to close this series up and move on to the next round. So be sure to check them out and see how that goes. If you want to, get more information, find out more about the NHL playoffs, how things are going there, all the other teams that are in it, make sure you check out the Neutral Zone. They are right here on IE Sports Radio, and they will have full NHL playoff coverage going on there. Next up, we have the Charlotte FC with, it's a little bit of a disappointing weekend for them. Okay, great. A little bit of a disappointing weekend for them. And with their home win streak finally being snapped, they lose 0-1 to the New England Revolution. This brings their home win streak to an end. I think they were on an 8-game home win streak. They gave up a goal late. Took a while. That defense held on for as long as it could, but in the 77th minute, New England scored the only goal needed to put the match away. And Charlotte was not able to get a shot home after that to at least draw even. So unfortunate turn of events for them, but we move on. Soldier Honor, they will be traveling now to Columbus next weekend to play the Columbus Crew. That's going to be a 7:30 p.m. game. So if you don't have it, make sure you look into that MLS on Apple and check out the game there. They're still pretty strong, 6-1-3. So good record going on. They are fourth in MLS. Still having a great season. So we won't give up hope on them just yet. And I really looking forward to expecting a lot of great stuff from them. All right, I had meant to take a break right before that. I jumped in a little too soon, so I'm going to take a break now, and we are going to, when we come back, we're going to talk some USL soccer now, some of the other professional leagues there in the Carolinas. It's something, like I said, I want to get more into. I talk a lot about more with you guys, but first we're going to take a listen to a couple of our jobs for our other shows. Just stick around.
Hockey fans, I'm Adam Kernick.
And I'm Zach Puplis.
Together, we are the newest version of Hockey Talk on IE Sports Radio, The Neutral Zone.
Zone.
We love hockey, but we also know it's not everyone's first sport. So we want to make this show as much for new fans as for the diehards.
Whether you can name all the Swedes on the 08 Red Wings Stanley Cup team, or if you can't tell if Varlamov is a goalie or the latest trendy vodka, we're here to help. With facts, figures, and outrageous fans, we bring you all the hard-hitting hockey news you can handle, while still keeping it fun and on the rails. Well, mostly.
So tune in every week as we go around the hockey world, from college to Canada, the minors and the majors, and everywhere in between.
So bring your cellies.
And your one-timers.
You wicked wristas.
And be sure to protect your five-hole.
Catch the Neutral Zone every week on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
We promise not to pick on the Arizona Coyotes every episode.
What's up, New York? This is Ricky K coming at you with the NY State of Sports, a new show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Listen to me every Thursday afternoon as we bring you the latest takes on the Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Devils, and Islanders. Plus, you get some college hoops and what's the local sports events going on in the area. It's a state that never sleeps, so why not get the opinions and sports takes that never sleep? Again, every Thursday, 2 p.m. to the NY State of Sports. We'll see you then.
All right, then. Welcome back, everybody. Let's get rid of that ticker. There we go. Oh, where did she do that? All right. What should be? Sorry, I'm trying to figure some stuff out. Anyway, all right. Welcome back. Like I said, let's get into a little bit of some USL soccer in the area. I got a couple of things lined up for this today. Won't be getting into it like super deep yet because I'm still figuring things out. So hopefully, if you don't know USL soccer, I know I don't. I'm not as familiar with it. So hopefully, as I learn this, we can kind of grow and learn together. If you're like me, you're still finding out about it. So I'll do a quick rundown. I'm not going to get too deep into this. Talking this kind of stuff is probably more for Jess over at Shin Pads and Shenanigans, one of our newest podcasts. It's really great. She gets into all things soccer. So make sure you while you're there on our YouTube channel, you're looking for shin pads and shenanigans. It's a tongue twister. Love the name. Super fun. And check her out. And you'll be able to really get into a lot of this soccer stuff. So USL, for those like me who weren't following before, broken up into several different leagues. We talked about that just a little bit several episodes ago, where USL is now going to a promotion and relegation system. So we'll have three major leagues going on for that. That is going to be, let's say, the USL Division One. That's still being formed right now. So they're still picking up and assigning teams to that one. The USL Championship, which is currently their top league, that's going to be a Division Two, so a tier down from there. And that's who we're going to kind of talk about today. So our teams there, and then USL League One, which will be a Division Three team or level. So between those, with promotion relegation, teams at the top of their division get to move up to the next. Teams at the bottom move down to the next one below. And so that way, the better you do, the higher you go. The not as well worse you do, the further down you go until you figure yourself out and get yourself up into the next league up. If you've ever watched Ted on Apple TV, you might be kind of familiar with how this works. All right, so talked about a couple of those leagues. You have USL Championship. You also have the USL Super League. That's the women's professional league in USL. And then again, League One, which is another professional league there. We've got a team to talk about really briefly there. And then the USLW League is a pre-professional women's league. And then there's Academy, there's Youth, there's League Two. There's all sorts of leagues going on. But I think the main ones that I'm going to try to focus on in teams will be the teams I'll focus on the most will be in USL Championship, USL Super, and League One. So those are the primary ones I'm going to focus on. And in USL Championship is the North Carolina FC, who have, where'd they go? Been playing reasonably well, although, let's see, do I have that record in front of me? No, so all that, and then we screwed it up. So had a pretty decent season here. I think, yeah, just number 5th out of 12 in their conference. Let's see. Well, 2, 3, and 2 wins, losses. So 2 wins, 3 losses, and 2 ties. So not the greatest of records, but still hanging in there pretty tough. The Champion League and the USL One League have just started up with the USL Jägermeister Cup. So kind of think of this as almost like the World Cup, where they're going through a group stage right now. So each between all the teams in USL Championship and all the teams in USL One have been divided out into groups. They'll play each other in a group stage. Those with the best records will go on to a knockout stage at the end of this summer, in the August time frame. And so one of the opening games was just the other day, and it was North Carolina FC and Charlotte Independence, who is going to be one of the main teams we follow from USL League One. Charlotte Independence able to get the win here, and 2-1 over North Carolina FC in that opening round of the Jägermeister Cup. So Charlotte Independence off to a strong start, going up 1-0 for their record, 1-0, I guess, for their record in the Cup. North Carolina taking that hit, going 0-0-1 now with 1 loss. If you're familiar with how a lot of these soccer group stage tournaments work out, if you're off to a slow start, you get down by a game early on, it can be really hard to get back into it. It's not impossible, but it can be really difficult. Getting that first win and getting on top early is a great benefit. So great job there by Charlotte Independence. Again, these teams hope to dive into a little bit more as the summer goes on. We'll be following the Jägermeister Cup, or these teams through the Jägermeister Cup. Won't get into the cup itself too much. Again, leave that to Jess and her shenanigans. But it is going to be, I think, a pretty fun summer following along with them. Next up, I said talk about the USL Super League as well. So for that, I probably should have tickered that, but that's okay. Super League is our professional women's cup, and we'll talk and focus first for now on North Carolina Ascent FC. They're out of Charlotte, and they, I know, have been dominating throughout for this whole season. Let's see, what do I have here? That's League One. That's them. So okay, here's Charlotte. Or sorry, North Carolina Ascent. They are sitting at 13, 5, and 7. They're 7-2-4 at home, 6-3-3 away. They're currently on a 5-game win streak. So they have been playing incredibly well through the spring. They recently defeated Fort Lauderdale FC 5-2. Pretty strong game there. And sitting at the top of their standings. So in their group, let's see. They're, I think, not only in their conference, but actually for the entire league, sitting at the top. So great team there in Charlotte. Excited to see how they go. Let's see. We got 8 teams here. Yep. Man, fantastic. 8 teams here in the Super League. They're broken up basically into 2 4-team divisions. And we already got Carolina Ascent has already secured a playoff position. So we'll be looking forward to that, seeing how they finish out the season, and then seeing them in the playoffs and see how they do there. Let's see. Yep, I think they've got Tampa Bay Sun, which is kind of cool. New team. They just came down here to Tampa Bay. They actually play at my daughter's high school. There's a really beautiful soccer field right there at my daughter's high school, and that's where the Tampa Bay Sun play. And I got off onto a tangent because the Ascent are not playing them this weekend. They're playing later on, but they have played the Sun before, and will be hosting the Sun in an upcoming game. All right. Let's go ahead and get myself out of here. Yeah, and like I said before, want to get more into USL. You want to follow some more of these teams, find out how everything works with them. Be sure to check out Shin Pads and Shenanigans with Jess right here on IE Sports Radio on YouTube. All right, so I'm going to take another quick break here to get myself reoriented, regrouped from some of that, and then we're getting to some of the college spring sports as they kind of come to a head and start wrapping up before finals and before summer hits. Stick around and we will be right back.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daryl Kinsey Jr., and I'm welcoming you to take another lap with the fastest show on IE Sports Radio. Yes, this is the Extra Mile with me and my co-hosts Christopher Lehman and Michael Ward. We talk everything racing from NASCAR to IndyCar to Formula One to limited hydroplanes, endurance racing, the NHRA, and more. So come join us for an hour of great racing talk and a lot of fun as well on the Extra Mile, Thursdays at 8 p.m. only on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, welcome back, everybody. All right, there I am. All right, let's talk a little bit. Start off with some of our lacrosse stuff here. All right. Just give a quick shout out here. UNC women's lacrosse beating Boston College 14-12 in the women's lacrosse ACC championship. That makes Carolina the regular season and tournament champions in women's lacrosse. Boston College now 17-2. Both those losses are to UNC. I'll note too, Boston College is the defending national champion. So we'll be looking forward to seeing the national tournament starting up here soon. And we will definitely follow along with that and see how our teams do there. And then similarly, the UNC men's lacrosse recently defeated Syracuse, also 14-12. UNC moves up to 10-3 for their season. Syracuse drops down to 9-5. And we expect to see the UNC men also in their respective tournaments coming up soon. So that's another one we'll be sure to keep an eye on and let you guys know how that goes for both Carolina teams. And then I think, got one more. We've got North Carolina and Duke, and we'll be following Duke as well really close to see how they do coming up in the tournament. All right. Now let's move into, we'll start off with softball. Looking at NCAA softball, some good games here. First off, let's just go down our top 25, highlight some of our quote-unquote high performers. At number 10, we still have University of South Carolina. They're still getting things done. I try to keep Twitter updated as much as possible with these guys that are playing and playing well. So we like to make sure we're keeping tabs on them. They have had, so I think recently, got a nice sweep against Kentucky recently, and then had a canceled game against Winthrop, and then a little bit of a slide against Auburn. Losing the series against Auburn 1-2. First two games they dropped 7-8 in game one, and then blanked in the second game 0-7. But they were able to rally, take game three, so salvage the win out of that to go at 4-1 for that game. I got 4 games left here against Furman, and then a 3-game series against Alabama this coming weekend. So before they close out the season. So be sure to keep a close eye on that and see how they do. From there, I think our next team is Clemson. They're sitting at number 14. Again, another team that's been playing well. Another team I've been doing my best to keep tabs on them and keep us all up to date on Twitter. They've finished out their season with a 4-game win streak, taking down Tennessee first 4-3, and then a 3-game sweep of Georgia Tech, opening up that series with a 6-2 win, then a 19-0 blanking on Saturday, and then Sunday wrapped up the season with an 8-2 victory. So Clemson finishes the season strong. Might see them move up a little bit once the new rankings come out, and then see how they get set up for their tournament coming up. And then finally, we've got number 15, Duke, to wrap us up for college softball. They've had a strong finish to their season, playing Campbell on the 23rd. They win that one 9-1. And then a series win against NC State. They take 2-1, opened up the series with a 9-2 victory, followed up with a really close 11-9 loss. And then close out the series, close out the season with a 12-6 win in Raleigh. So good moves there from Duke. A lot of really good play going on for the Lady Blue Devils. All right, next up, let's talk a little bit NCAA baseball. Have a lot of good teams here sitting really high in the standings. First up is Clemson at number 3. This even after a slip here. So Tuesday midweek game, had a single game against Georgia. Nice win, 3-0. But then this weekend, hit a rough patch against NC State. Getting swept 3-0. First game against State on Thursday was 14-4. And they followed that up on Friday, 8-3 loss, and then a 4-1 loss on Sunday. So kind of took a pretty hard hit there, but still sitting pretty high up in the standings. I think kind of reading it a little bit, reading up on this a little bit. A couple of the teams in the top 10 had some slip-ups this past weekend, so that probably helped Clemson stay there at the top. But taking advantage, now number 4, North Carolina. They were previously number 6. They move up with some really strong play. And once this gets loaded, they've, let's see. So Presbyterian, they're supposed to play Presbyterian. They were actually in that game the last time we were talking. That was back on Tuesday. That ended up getting canceled. But then went on to play Pittsburgh. They win that series 2-1. Great opening series win, 15-5. And then lost the next one, really close game, 4-2. And then finish off the series with a 6-0 win. So again, some really good play from those guys. As the season starts coming to a close, their next games will be. They got 3. Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah. A couple of one-offs. George Mason, Queens, North Carolina, wherever that is, and Campbell as well. Start following Campbell. They're a North Carolina team. And so we'll keep that, keep our eye out for that, and we'll be able to talk about those on the next episode. Then you've got, NC State broke in, if you remember. Tuesday, the 22nd, must have been some crazy thunderstorms coming through the area because NC State was supposed to play East Carolina. That game was canceled. So a lot of games up there being canceled, most likely weather. And then that followed up, like we just mentioned a few minutes ago, with the 3-game sweep against Clemson. And finally, Coastal Carolina hanging out at number 19, slowly moving up the ranks. Recall, they were hanging out at 21 for quite a while. And they were able to finally move up now. They did not get the thunderstorm, but their last Tuesday they did play. They were in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, playing College of Charleston. But unfortunately for them, they lost that game 2-4. But then they followed it up with a 3-game sweep of James Madison, 9-2 opening game. 14-4 on their Saturday afternoon game, and then finally closed it out 8-4 at the end. So as this season kind of winds down, we've got a couple more weeks left. We'll be looking forward to the NCAA men's baseball tournament. So they'll go through the tournament, and then the final 8 from that tournament will go on to play in Oklahoma for the College World Series. Big exciting time to watch that. Seen Carolina in that a few times before. I think seen NC State as well. So we'll be really excited to see how that turns out, and hopefully get to see some of our teams make it into that into the World Series. Finally, I want to wrap it up by finally getting to a team I've been talking about a lot here, but not actually. And that was all lacrosse. Sorry, I should have changed that up. That was all my fault. A team that I've been talking up a lot, but not actually getting to very much, and that is the Charlotte Knights. Team I really want to get up there. I would love to get up there and see a game. I've said before, their stadium is in a super nice spot. They've got great views of the skyline. They've been doing really pretty well. They had a hot start to the season. I think they cooled off a little bit, but they are back on a pretty nice streak, actually. They're currently sitting at 12-15. They have won 4 in a row. They are 6-4 in their last 10. So on a little bit of a streak here. So hopefully they can continue to move up the ranks. For those of you not tracking, the Knights are the Chicago White Sox AAA affiliate. So we'll keep an eye on them. Listen to, just heard a drop earlier for the Chi-Town show. You can check them out. I think hear more about the prospects, the Chicago White Sox prospects, where they're coming up from. I know about 3 guys in the last 2 weeks have been called up. So got some really good players on there, guys who are getting called up and getting put to use in the majors. So I will do again, looking forward to doing a little bit more in-depth on these guys as our other sports wind down. We'll have continue to have the Hurricanes, and as they go through the playoffs, like I said, we'll still talk a little bit, but not quite as much about the Panthers as they go through the offseason. And then, that's not what I wanted. And then, like I said, we'll talk a lot more about we'll talk a lot more about soccer, USL throughout the summer. We'll follow the Knights through the summer. It'll be it'll be a really good time there, I think. We'll be able to check out the College World Series here soon. I think a lot of, just because, winter and sports are dying out, and football is still pretty far on the horizon, doesn't mean we won't have anything to talk about. I think we'll still have a lot of good stuff to talk about. So be sure to keep tuning back in. I will continue to work on my skills here, and we will talk to y'all later.